Hello and welcome back. This is the last lesson on system thinking and circular economy. As promised, I will show you a practical tool and case study for enabling you to drive innovation and growth. Let me start with a story. Imagine that you are the leading sustainability manager in a furniture company, Nordic Sustainability. Everything is going great in your company, and now you're sitting in a meeting with other managers. Everyone is very happy, the sales are strong, the customers are happy, and the company is very solid. Everything is going great. Then you go back to your desk and you start reading about new regulation coming, such as CSRD, ESPR, the Eco Design for Sustainable Product Regulation. You begin to notice that there is a lot of noise around the topic. Well, what do? Well, of course, you start reading the regulation, you start to get information, and you see that these regulations are different. They ask a lot of real data, tangible data. And you realize that these will have an impact on your role, but also your company. So now you have mainly two options. You start panicking, or you try to navigate this complexity and understand how these can be actually seen as an opportunity instead of as a cost. Hi, I'm Giovanni Formentini, and I help companies and research centers to drive innovation and business growth through system thinking and circular economy. Let's start this case study in which I will show you a practical tool that you can use as a leader to calm the storm of sustainability and understand how these regulations can be actually used to drive innovation and business growth. Let's start. As you may recall from the previous lesson, this is the representation of the business system, which interacts with stakeholders both within its network and external. The stakeholders we mapped are manufacturer, distributor, user, recycler, and take-back. Now, let's see how these stakeholders will be integrated in our tool. Let's start by zooming in on the manufacturer. Let's introduce a new tool, the Porter Value Chain Model. This model is a strategic framework that breaks down a company operation into distinctive activities, categorized as either primary or support activities. Now let's proceed in a structured and clear manner. I decide to use color code elements to map the activities within the Nordic Sustainability, and in this case I've decided to use color blocks to represent the information already available, while using sticky notes to facilitate brainstorming and identify opportunities and alerts. So this is the overall map of the activities within Nordic Sustainability. For each activity, I identify some actor and goal that are linked to that specific activity. For instance, if we focus on the support activities, we can see that identified board satisfaction and regulation bodies as actions and actors that influence the activity of the firm infrastructure. Similarly, the employee satisfaction is an action that affects human resource management, and so on across the whole value chain. Now, let's focus on the firm infrastructure. We see that the action board satisfaction is connected to the actor regulatory bodies. In other words, if we manage to meet the expectation of the regulatory bodies, the board is likely to be satisfied as well. How exactly are regulatory bodies linked to our company activity? Let's follow the arrow. If we consider the inbound logistics, we notice that upcoming regulation will require companies to track the resource they use. We also need to ensure that these resources will remain cost-effective, or at very least, that they will not become significantly more expensive. So what else should we consider? If we look at the service, we see that regulation increasingly affects the end-of-life phase of our products. This phase does not just impact us, it will impact also external stakeholders such as recyclers. Currently, our products are cheaper to manufacture from scratch than to repair. This is because we have designed them to be quick and easy to be assembled, but we haven't addressed the disassembly process. As a result, we have a little to no control over the end of life of our products. We don't track what happens to them once they are discarded. Let's see how this lack of control affects also the outbound logistics. So let's focus on the outbound, and we can see that currently we don't have a take-back logistics system. However, implementing such practice is often complex, costly, and risky. This factor can easily raise concern at the board level. So what else can we observe? We can observe that our products are moved across multiple facilities before reaching to the customer. This is necessary to meet the delivery and the distribution needs, but also increase the risk of the product to be damaged during the handling and transportation. And this can lead to customers that are dissatisfied. However, when customers are dissatisfied due to this problem, we offer them a refund, and this is a reactive approach. But also, what can we see here in the marketing and sales activity? We observe that users are primarily driven by price. That means that adding costly features will negatively affect customer satisfaction if it raises the overall price. But also, we notice that there is a shifting trend. Customers are increasingly asking questions related to sustainability, particularly regarding circular economy practices and product disassembly performances. These concerns are becoming more important in purchasing decisions. If we fail to address this expectation, this could lead to a decline in the customer trust and loyalty. So, how our operations can address these issues? Let's see. If we zoom into the operation, we see that our products are designed to be easily assembled and also modular. And this design choice was made because it allowed us to manufacture them in a quick way and to deliver product to the customer in an efficient and at lower cost. However, currently we are not addressing the disassembly aspect, which is a clear drawback. So what's next? Let's see what we have at this stage. We have an overview of how our company activities are affected by the new regulations. We have an understanding of how each activity connects with others, involving both internal teams and external stakeholders. And also we have a comprehensive system overview of our company, the Nordic Sustainability. Both internal activities map alongside relevant external stakeholders. So it's time to sum up and address the problems that we identified. In particular, we noticed that the product disassembly is an issue, a solution to make the product easy to be disassembled. Also, we noticed that the take-back practices are missing, so a possible solution could be to implement. Finally, we see that there are no data about the product end of life, so a possible solution could be to introduce product tracking to gather end of life information. Let's run a cost opportunity analysis to determine which proposal makes the most sense to present at the next meeting. The cost opportunity matrix is a tool where we can evaluate different solutions by scoring them on a scale from 1 to 3 across 4 criteria: risk, vision, cost, and implementation time. This means that the total score for each solution will range from a minimum of 4 to a maximum of 12. And the highest is the score, the better the opportunity is. So, in the first one, product design, we can see that the risk is high. Indeed, it involves many people and multiple iterations. The vision is low. It doesn't open doors for future development. The cost is high. Of course, we need to redesign a product, and that can be expensive. And also, the implementation time is high. It takes significant time to complete a new redesign of the product. So the opportunity score is 4. Let's look at the second option, reusing materials and resources. The risk, it can jeopardize the product functionalities, and the take-back practices are costly. The vision is low. Indeed, it does not add clear value to the customer or to the company. And the cost is high. There is a significant investment required. And the implementation time as well is long. It takes a considerable amount of time to implement. So the overall score is 5. Using smart tracking, the risk is low. There are solutions already available and proven. The vision is medium. Indeed, it provides value in the short term, but limited in the long-term benefit. The cost is medium. Indeed, it requires investment in both IT infrastructure and hardware. And the implementation time is high. Indeed, it involves coordinating across several company activities and takes time. So the overall score is 7. So at this point, we really didn't see something that it's both driving innovation, company growth, and also answer to the need of sustainability and the new policy on the rise. The last solution is the creation of a second-hand market. Well, the risk is low. It doesn't jeopardize the current business model, and also it can be implemented alongside the existing operation. The vision is good. Indeed, it opens access to a new market that is dominated by informal players mainly and generates new net revenue streams. The cost is low. Indeed, it's primarily an IT investment. The implementation time is medium. Indeed, there is some time is needed to plan and launch the activity effectively. However, the overall score is 9 out of 12. Moreover, this solution address all the main issues that we identified during the process, specifically the tracking of the end of life of the product, facilitating the reuse of the product. It also helps to position Nordic Sustainability as a leader in sustainable growth, and this will help satisfying customers, regulatory bodies, and ultimately the company. This sounds like a great idea to push innovation and revenues forward. I hope this exercise helped to shed some light in the complexity of sustainability and circular economy and show you how this principle can be used in your company. This brings us to the end of our mini course. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found it both interesting and inspiring. Feel free to reach out through comments or direct email in case you would like to push the boundaries of system thinking. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon. Ciao!